Our Thursday with Thompson. Pete Thompson from SNJ today, 7 to 7:30. The Locker Room with Mike Frankel and Pete Thompson with all the highlights and scores for the high school football season. PT, you got a chance to see Crawford play a couple times, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that Jack Crawford was on the Friday Night Blitz, right? I mean, it seems like yesterday, but it's 4 years of college and 4 years of high school, basically. You know the story of how he ended up in a football uniform, right? Which coach is responsible for that?
Well, I know this, and doing a little research, I wrote an article about it over at 97.3 ESPN.com because I was on the conference call today with Jason Garrett, and I believe it was Dave Weinberg from the Press who asked Garrett the question about Crawford, and Garrett had said we saw him play a couple of years ago in a scrimmage, and we really liked him, and one of the things he said about him was he could play inside, he could play outside, he's very versatile, and this goes back to what you were saying. I believe he came over to play soccer or basketball. He also caught 12 touchdowns, had never played football before, and they just said, yo, you're going to go on the football field. The guy goes out there and catches 12 touchdown passes, and now he sacked Brady, Breeze, and Manning in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I saw that sack of Brady live, and I remember thinking, oh, Jack Crawford's funny, he's a Cowboy. Oh, but that's cool. Those things are kind of neat when you see a kid that basically lived in Longport, so, we'll claim him as one of ours, even though he's London born and bred. But Paul Rodeo brought him over to play basketball at St. Augustine, right? He gets over there, and he's walking down the hallway out in Richland, and Dennis Scuderi Sr. was the coach of the prep at the time, and stuck one look at him and said, you got to play football. And he said, oh, yeah, I love Tottenham, and I love Manchester United. No, American football. He was talking soccer teams. He'd never seen American football in his life. But you're right, 12 touchdowns. He was a man among boys his senior year of high school. That got Penn State's attention. Sometimes they just draft on athlete, right? And that's obviously when he got out to Penn State. He went on the defensive side of the football, learned how to plug holes and rush the passer and things like that. And he's worked with, I think it's Ryan Ojeda that's out here in Galloway, has a speed and agility and sort of trains athletes around here. Because I've seen Jack in my local Wawa before. The first time I saw him, I thought, God, that guy's huge. And then I looked at a little closer, and he had like Raiders socks at the time, So I thought, oh, that's probably, and it was Jack. He was out here doing his thing. So he comes back to the area every summer, but yeah, we're still rooting for the Eagles, right?
Yeah, I don't. That's a tough one if you're a fan of watching the local guys do well, and then he's right there rushing the passer against going after Sam Bradford. Sunday, he's made a name for himself with the Cowboys, Pete, this is always a big rivalry week. I know you're one of those guys who has a photographic and memorable memory. What for you, Dallas, Philadelphia? What are some of the games you've been to or covered or moments?
Well, and I mentioned the frostbite on my feet when the Eagles won the NFC Championship. That's my go-to card when people question my loyalty to the Philadelphia Eagles. If you basically should have gone to the ER after a game where you went to support your team, I think you get a pass. I think you're okay. But I think of stuff that's crazy stuff too. I think of Donovan and T.O. season. Remember they went down to Dallas and just absolutely annihilated them, and that play where Donovan was alive for 15 or 18 seconds before he finally threw the football. That was a crazy Monday night game. I think that might have also been the game, or at least the one in Philadelphia that year. Dallas-Eagles rivalry was where Desperate Housewives was big, and ABC got in trouble because they basically showed an almost naked Nicolette Sheridan to start the game. All she had was like a strategically placed T.O. jersey over her. So, what jumps out of my mind? Things like that. Pickle juice.
I would say I wouldn't be surprised by that. SNJ today, Pete Thompson, Saturday night, 7 to 7:30. I always tell that Dallas week we just had a couple of weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago. The Dallas Eagle memory for me. I was at the snowball game when Aikman and everybody was getting pelted with snowballs. I was getting pelted. I told this story, man, back when we were on 1450. Before we flipped over to the AM dial, and I was telling the story. I said I got hit in the back of the head with a snowball, and some guy calls up and says, that was me. I'm the one. Not that 75,000 people in the stands. He knows that he hit me in the back of the head with a snowball. But I was at that game, and let me tell you. you know how you tell a story and then every year it kind of changes and gets crazier and more wild. Whatever you hear about that game is true. It was just pandemonium in that place. Snowballs were flying all over the place. I mean, that poor punter was in the back of the end zone, and he was getting lambasted with snowballs. It was great, but, here we are.
Or the mayor, now, then governor now, whatever he is. Right.
No, the Eagles post-game analyst threw one.
That's true. That's true. Did you see that the Eagles fans were named the third drunkest fans in the country this week?
Yeah, I think that's a little subjective, don't you? I mean, I don't know what the poll criteria was, but I would assume the Eagles would get that nod because they sell out every game. I mean, they have a stadium that sells out every single week, where some of these other stadiums, Jacksonville's half empty all the time, right?
Right. I forget how they did it. I think they handed out portable breathalyzers to 300 people or something and had them. I didn't really go too deep into it, other than to see. I think Buffalo was ahead of Philly, which might explain, if you're that cold. I don't know why you'd drink more beverages when you're freezing your patooties off, but I just thought it was a funny headline that we're the third most
that happens
city in the NFL.
Yeah, and Josh is telling me it was based on a breathalyzer app.
Oh, well, there's an app for everything, so that's
people breathing.
Okay.
People breathing into their phones, and now you get labeled for life because you had a little Shasta on your breath into your phone, and now you're, everybody's. We're the third drunk. Whatever. I mean, look, I said we were talking about this earlier. People say, well, the Eagle fans are this and that. I said, well, you live here. Of course we're going to see. If I was an Eagle fan and I lived in Dallas, I'd probably think they were really obnoxious. But you choose to live here, so of course it's going to be an obnoxious feeling. That's one of the things that's always kind of, wishy-washy. But Pete, we went to the game Monday night. We were there for LeBron, 25,000, great atmosphere. To see that. It was pretty cool. I mean, this kid's only 30 years old, so I'm assuming more milestones. But, that was a pretty cool atmosphere and a pretty cool accomplishment to see LeBron do that.
I certainly enjoyed it. And like I heard you talking the other day with Tom McGinnis, that we had not one but two locations. So you and I, excuse me, not being the skinniest of skinny, we wedged our rear ends into the lower level seats. That's my one complaint about the Wells Fargo Center. It's older than people think. I think it opened in '96, maybe earlier than that, and the seats haven't been widened since then, and America's wider. Gosh darn it! So I enjoyed the seats that were in the club box because they were just a slight little bit wider.
Yeah, they were a little bigger. You're right. Well, people forget that Wells Fargo Center is almost 20 years old now. I mean, they tore the Spectrum down after how long? Like 35 years, 36 years?
Yeah, but it was JFK where they put the Wells Fargo Center, and so it was revolutionary at the time, But you're right. I think, and they've done little subtle upgrades, but I know that the locker rooms are still, everything about it fits, but it could use a coat of paint. Not that you need revenue to do paint, right?
Just a little elbow grease. Built in '96, by the way. Built in '96. So we're coming up on.
Right.
Coming up on 20 years of the Wells Fargo Center. Believe that? It's unbelievable. So where are you going to be this week? I know we are out at Holy Spirit, and we'll be in Mays Landing, Holy Spirit in Oakcrest. Where will the PT and the SNJ Today cameras be?
Yeah, Mike Franco stole my game. I was originally I'm starting at Absegami in Atlantic City, and then I was supposed to go to Holy Spirit in Oakcrest, but he's actually pulling off a 3-pack, so I think he starts. There's a 6 o'clock game somewhere that he's starting at, and then I know he's getting. I think he's going to Buda second, and I think he's finishing at the Oakcrest game or something crazy like that. So my second game is Vineland and Mainland, so I'll be over at that game as well. That's interesting. Both those teams desperately trying to climb into the playoffs, so we'll see what takes place on those two. But I think there's 25 or 28 games we have total. Final Friday of the regular season, right? Most of the PowerPoint issues basically cleared themselves up, but there's still some questions to be answered on Friday night.
Definitely, and the boys will have all the highlights after all the games are done Saturday night from 7 to 7:30 on SNJ Today, channel 789 on your HD Comcast box. Check your local listings if you don't have Comcast, or just follow Pete on Facebook or Twitter. He'll tell you what it is. By the way, congratulations to Bob Pelly from Petersburg. He won a pair of tickets to the Flyers Colorado game for Flyers Ticket Thursday. We have another pair to give away in the next hour. You're going to win tickets to the LA Kings game on the 17th. That is Simone Gagne retirement night. They might need to get Simone Gagne out of retirement the way they're playing right now, PT.
They're pretty bad right now. I mean, Couturier comes back to the lineup tonight, so, Raffles, Giroux, Voracek on the top line, Reed, Couturier, Simmons, Umby, Shen, and LeCavier still in the lineup because there's no Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, and then Van de Velde, Lawton, and White. When your fourth line is better than your second line, and the Van de Velde, Lawton, White line has at times had more offense than any of the other three, that's a problem. So, I mean, yeah, they've been really bad right now. Now, Mason's not going to start tonight. We don't know what the issue is, if he has a cold, if he's sick or what, but Neuvert, he wasn't in practice this morning, or the skate-around this morning, so Neuvert's going to play again, and, gee, if he plays like he did in Edmonton, then they got a chance, but,
yeah.
Well,
PT
is a beatable team, so.
I know Monday night we went to the Sixers. Saturday night, I got the offer. I got dinner and tickets for the Sixers, and for Monday, is the PT available?
You had to ask me on the radio, right? I don't think Saturday night.
Saturday night, I got a pair of tickets, and I got dinner. Last time I had dinner with the Sixers, you know who sat with us?
Who?
Yeah, Will Smith was there, buddy.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. He's going on tour with DJ Jazzy Jeff, and Apple told me that. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I saw the Steve Jobs movie last night. So.
What are you trying to? You're trying to get yourself out of this one, aren't you? I see what you're doing.
I'm dancing around as much as I can. Yes, I don't have to answer this on the air, other than to tell you that I didn't invent the app for breathalyzer or whatever that was.
Okay.
You're not going to get anything out of me.
Saturday night, all right, the offer's out there. Sixers, right. Magic, dinner before the game up there. Monday night, Saturday and Monday, the Sixers have invited to.
Mondays you're missing wrestling.
I got DVR, brother. They play Saturday. They got Saturday against Orlando and Monday against Chicago. So they've invited us to come up for dinner and tickets for both games. I told him. He said, hey, you can bring your buddy Pete. He enjoyed having you there. So,
I like dinner. All right, we'll talk.
Well, Monday I can't do dinner because I got this damn job that keeps me on the radio until 6:00. And but Saturday, you can get up there early, do a little, they take us to that little restaurant they got in the building there where like the, it's like a little secret. I never saw this restaurant before. It's like a little secret restaurant they got up there off the floor.
The lower one or the upper one?
It's like on the club level, but to the left. Instead of like on the actual club level, it's off to the left. When you come in that little VIP entrance there, you go up those stairs, right, and then it's right there.
That's the Cadillac Grill.
No, it's not the Cadillac Grill. It's something different. Something different.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Okay. All right.
Oh, let me tell you, the carving station is better than any carving station the PT has ever been to. Look, if they're carving something for Will Smith, put it that way, all right?
Did you actually eat with Will Smith, or was he just in the room?
No, he sat at our table. He sat at my table. So you think about it. You let me know. All right, I'll let you off the hook this time.
All right. You're the best. I appreciate it.
All right, man. I know. Oh, Saturday. I know what you got. You got to tape that show. That's your problem.
Correct. From 4 to 4:30. Right. We tape.
Yeah. Well,
and then if there's an oops or two, then maybe it's to 5 or 5:15.
Yeah, we get up there by 6:30. We get up there by 6:30. They still serve dinner by that time. All right, brother. I'll get you off the hook. I'm sure someone will appreciate the fact that I'll ask them.
There's a guy named Jake who told me last night, hey, I listened to you on Tuesday with Thompson all the time. I mean, now it's Thursday. I said, that's right, Thursday.
All right, brother. Well, I'm running late. All right, I got to go.
All right. See you now.
Have a good night, buddy. All right, take care.